Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. I'm Dani, an illustrator and a small business owner, and on this channel I share my process and adventures. As part of my business, I wanted to learn how to create tote bags with my illustrations using the sublimation technique, in which I transfer a design to fabric using heat. But this time, we are going to compare it with another technique called DTF, which stands for direct to film. It's a technique I'm trying for the first time. At the end, we'll see the results and analyze which of the two techniques I like best and why. To test these techniques, I am going to use a design from one of my previous collections called Sea Love. It's a very special collection for me, and you can find everything from iPad and iPhone wallpapers to digital stickers and more. I'll leave the link in the description box in case you want to check out the products a little. Lately, for my designs, I combine digital illustrations with inspirational quotes. This time, I created an illustration of a whale, which symbolizes size and grandeur, and added the phrase "dream big." I really like this message because it reminds us to always dream big and not to limit our aspirations. The fun part is that with Canva, which is very easy and fast tool for me, I can try different fonts, play with colors, and increase their intensity to make the design more vibrant and eye-catching. I love how that touch of color I add to the illustration looks. Once I have the design ready, I download it in a PNG format. Now I move on to preparing the printer. Here I have my brother's sublimation paper, which works really well with this brand of printer. Remember that both the printer and the paper are special for sublimation, and the paper has a special side where the ink is printed. The best thing about having the printer and the matching paper is that the paper has a cut corner, and the printer has precise instructions for you to do this step correctly. Before printing, I select the mirror image option in the printer settings, as this inverts the image when printed and will look correct on the fabric when transferred. Then I simply print, and voila! Our sublimation design is ready for the next step. On the other hand, for DTF printing, I use a roll of designs that I had printed at a local shop. I have done a lot of research, and honestly, I don't recommend printing the designs for this technique at home because the industrial process uses potential toxic products and requires a well-ventilated environment. The best option is to have the printing done at a special facility and have it shipped to your home or picked up. Now, let's look at the differences between sublimation printing and DTF printing. Sublimation printing is done in mirror mode and typically has softer pastel colors very close to the original design. DFT printing, on the other hand, is not printed in mirror mode, and the colors are more vibrant, with greater intensity, and the designs appear more defined and bright. Additionally, sublimation only works on polyester fabrics or fabrics with a special coating, while DTF can be applied to any type of fabric, including cotton. Now it's time to prepare our bags for printing. I remind you that these bags are not made of cotton, but of polyester, as this fabric is the one indicated for sublimation. The DTF technique, on the other hand, can be used on any type of fabric, including cotton, but this time we are going to test it only on polyester to maintain the consistency of the experiment. First, we press the bag with our heat press at the lowest temperature for just 10 seconds. This helps remove wrinkles and prepares the surface for better adhesion of the design. Next, we use a rolling pin or any soft tool to remove any specks, dust, or hairs from the surface. Next, we place the design on the back, making sure it's centered and in the desired position. If you want more details on how to perform this sublimation process step by step, I have left a link in the description of the first video I made, where I explain the entire process in more detail so you can watch it after this video. While the sublimation bag is in the heat press, we'll prepare the other tote bag for the DFT technique. Remember that with this method, the design isn't printed mirror image, but rather is placed face up, in the final position we want it to appear on the back. Our sublimation bag is now complete, and we'll set it aside to continue with the DFT bag printing process. The heat press should be set at about 300 degrees Fahrenheit, and the recommended time is 12 to 15 seconds, which is quite fast compared to sublimation, which requires approximately 50 seconds due to a higher temperature. However, both techniques are generally quite fast and efficient. Now, let's build the sublimation design. Since I'm already experienced in this process, I'm not nervous and the process goes quite well. Now, after the DTF bag has come out of the press, I think it's ready to remove the paper and see how the final design looks. But when I try to remove the paper from the DTF print, I get really nervous. The corner of the illustration and some of the letters don't come off as I expected. At that point, I decided to put the bag back in the heat press at the same temperature for another 15 seconds. Confession: I was really nervous at this point because I thought it wouldn't work. But in the end, it did. The DTF design managed to adhere almost completely, although one corner is slightly raised. It is not very noticeable, but yes, it was a small challenge that I was able to overcome. And now we come to the final part of comparing the technique and results. Sublimation generally prints the design very close to the original, with softer, less vibrant colors, but with great detail and quality. This technique works best on polyester fabrics, but requires more time in the heat press. On the other hand, the DTF technique presents more vivid colors and brighter quality, but the illustration is not as detailed as the original, and the colors do not appear in a natural gradient. This technique may also present some small issues, like the one we saw in the corner of the illustration after building the design. Of course, this could be because this is my first time working with this technique, and it may be more efficient on cotton than it is on polyester fabric. This technique, on the other hand, is very versatile on materials and faster, but it requires prior printing on a specialized facility, which can be inconvenient. And in the end, which one is my favorite? Although both techniques have advantages, my favorite is still sublimation. For me, the most important thing is that the design on the back is as close as possible to the original design I created, and in that regard, sublimation doesn't disappoint. Plus, I have all the materials and machines at home, which allows me to experiment and create different designs without relying on third parties and without delays in orders. And here are the final results of the 2 bags. Which one do you like the most? Tell me in the comments below. I love reading all your messages and opinions. Thank you so much for watching this video until the end. If there are any other topics you'd like me to cover on the channel, let me know in the comments. Don't forget to subscribe for more content about my illustration process, customization techniques, and my small business. See you in the next video. Bye-bye!